All right, everybody. Today we're going to show you how to place text behind an object. In this tutorial, I will show you how to easily place text behind an object in a photo with Photoshop. This effect is used everywhere you look, from magazine covers to movie posters, and usually involves placing some text behind a person's head. As we'll see, creating the effect in Photoshop is easy. All it takes is an image, some text, and a quick selection and a layer mask. And we'll see how that works. Um, so here is the final image of what I decided to do. I took Michael Jordan and I wrote his name behind, and I placed the image of Michael Jordan in front of the word of his last name, Jordan. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open up an image. So I'm going to go up to open, and I've already downloaded an image. I used a high resolution image, and I found a great picture of him right here. And we're going to go ahead and open that up in Photoshop. Just please make sure that your layers panel is opened. Okay, you can go up to the window and make sure that your layers panel is showing. I like to make sure, especially in something like this, that my layer is unlocked. So make sure to unlock that layer. And make sure that your layers panel is showing. Remember, that is very important to have your layers panel showing. Okay. All right. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is add the text to the image and position it in front of the object. If we look at my layers panel, we'll see I'm going to add some text. So first I'm going to add text. So I go ahead and click on the horizontal type tool like so, and I click right there. You can go ahead and double click, highlight, and change it to, I'm going to change it to white. So you can see right here, I'm going to use my color picker and I'm going to hit OK. Then I'm going to go to edit, transform, and scale. And I'm going to go ahead and just pull those corners like this. Now it's very simple. Once you kind of get the size that you'd like, you go ahead and you hit the enter or the check. And then I'm going to re-highlight this and I'm going to type in Jordan. Okay. At that point, I will re-highlight it and I'm going to go ahead and pick a nice, big, bold font. One that I like to use that's a lot easier is Arial. And I'm going to use Arial Black. Where is it? Right here, and I'm just going to go to black to style like that. And at this point, I'm also going to just go ahead and make it very large and place that in front of my subject. Okay. So as you can see, I've already added the text, and then I'm going to go ahead and add a drop shadow just to make the text easier to see a little bit on the so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on the FX. I'm going to go to drop shadow, and you can already see a little bit is there. I'm going to change the opacity, make it a little darker. I'm going to change the distance a little bit and the spread, and you can already see that. There we go. Make it a little darker. And of course, the amount of pixels that you select is going to be really based on the image that you selected. You might have an image that has a lighter background. You might not need to have such a high opacity. Or you might have a darker background. Maybe you might want a different color, or maybe maybe you can add a stroke or make a cool outline or something like that. But you want to be able to see that font, and you want it to really stand out. Okay. Next, what I want to do is I'm going to I'm going to make a duplicate of this layer 0, which I'm going to title background layer. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a duplicate of this by hitting Control J. Okay, or you can right click and copy. You can copy the layer, uh, duplicate layer. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring it to the top right above so that I have 3 layers now. I have the background layer on top, the copy, and then I have the word Jordan. So if I were to hide it, you can still see it. And remember, this layer is now on top. So now I have the background layer, the Jordan layer, and then the background layer. And that is going to prove to be very important. We're going to be needing all of that. Okay. The next thing we need to do is select the part of our subject that's going to appear in front of the text. Photoshop, remember, has lots of great selection tools to choose from, but in most cases, the quick selection works. In this case, you can also use the object selection. And remember, it all depends on your your image. I have a nice, clean, high resolution image of Jordan here, so I'm just going to go ahead and click and drag my object selection tool around Michael Jordan like so, and I'm going to release it, and it takes about a second or two, and it will select that image. Now, you can see I have a really great selection. Now, in this case, what's only important is what's going to be if I in front of the letters. So essentially, all that matters is what's in front of the letters, okay? And you'll see what I mean the further we get onto the project here. Some of these areas here aren't very clean, okay? But what we can do is we can add a quick mask, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the letter Q on my keyboard. Now, what this does is it adds a mask, and all the red part you can see, okay? If I zoom in a little bit, you can see right here that I missed some parts right here next to his cheek. I missed a little part right next to his head. Okay, and that's going to be really important because you don't want that to show on top of the font. You want it to have a nice, smooth, kind of like a smooth break, I guess you could say, between him and the font. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and undo the quick mask, and I'm going to go to the top here and hit select and mask. Okay, now what this does is this brings me into the select and mask option. And you can see right here that the selection on the right hand side, what happens is a silhouette happens. Now you can change the view. I'm going to go ahead and make it overlay like we had it before. You can select that right there. Okay, and I'm going to change the opacity so it's a little darker. Okay, so what this does here is you can actually smooth the edges, you can feather the edges, okay, and you want to make sure get rid of some of these rough edges here, like around his shoulder, around his ear, okay. So what I can do is I can use these tools here, okay, refine the edge brush, and I can go ahead and I can brush those areas that I missed like this and get a little closer, almost like you're painting. Over his head, over his ear here, maybe over his forehead. And what you're doing is really cleaning it up. There we go. I'm going to hold alternate so I can get the bigger piece right there. And then we're going to go back to that refine brush. Refine that edge. There we go. There we go. Now, we can also smooth that edge. So if we go ahead and start to toggle the smoothness, you can see it has a nice smoother, it smooths out the edge between that red area and the masked area. You can also feather it a little bit so it has a more natural more natural transition from the subject to the background. Okay, and then we're going to go to output settings, and you want it to go to select with a layer mask. All right. Now back in Photoshop, a layer mask thumbnail appears on the background copy right here. And in the document window, you can see the final effect with our text sitting nicely behind our subject. And there we have it. And that's how you place a subject in front of an image. And remember, it's going to be different depending on the word you select and the image. Okay, there might be a little more cleaning up to do, but it all depends on your image. And remember that this is a nice high resolution image. So make sure to pick a nice high resolution image for this particular assignment. Okay? Thank you for watching.